Welcome back to the Cal State application walkthrough. This is going to be dealing with quadrant number 2, which is the academic history section. In the previous video, we dealt with the personal information, and at the very end of the personal information, after you hit the save and continue, it'll automatically deposit you into the academic history section. So you don't have to come back to this My Application tab, click on the academic history. It should automatically take you there. So we'll go through each of the sections on this quadrant, starting with the high schools attended. In this one, you can already see that I have a high school in place, but just for the sake of showing how it looks, we're going to click on the Add High School. And for the high schools attended, you are including every high school that you have attended. You're not just including the last high school that you attended or the high school that you got your diploma from. Every single high school you are including here. So you'll choose the country that your high school was at, type in either the state, city, or zip code. So for this one, I'm going to do Redlands again. And it'll give you the option to look at all the schools in Redlands. What will pop up is a directory of all the Redlands high schools that are present. And if you have a long list, you don't want to go through all of that, you can always just click in the little search box and type in the exact name of the high school. Or if you end up scrolling down, you might be able to see it. If for whatever reason you do not see your high school listed, you can go ahead and click on this and then type in the high school's location and also the dates that you attended. So we'll go back to this, click on schools in Redlands. I'm going to go back to Redlands High School, and I'm going to choose the dates that I attended. And with this one, they're not asking for the specific day of the month, but depending on when you ended up starting high school, it either began in August or it began in September. For most individuals, if you graduated before 2008, you may have started in September and had that really long summer vacation, and those afterwards would have the really long winter break and would have the starting be in August. So you'll just choose the specific area. I'm going to go ahead and put down that we started in August 2010, and then I graduated 4 years later in June. So I'm going to go to 2014, select June. And then for this one, for most of the campuses, they are semester-based. So even though they were broken up into quarters, the quarter grades did not count. They were more as a progress report status. So you'd end up choosing semester, or if you went to a school that specified that it was a full year or a trimester or quarter, you'll just choose the appropriate term. If you're unsure, it's always best to just do semester. For this one, the most important part is just seeing where you went to high school and also the dates that you attended that specific high school. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. I already have this set. And once you've added all of your high schools, this is going to ask about your graduation status. And with this, it's asking if you got your high school diploma, if you've received your GED, or if you have not received either. Just know that depending on which one you select, it will not affect your admission into the CSU. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and say that I got my diploma. Where did I get it from? I got it from UCAIPA. And then I choose the date that I received it, which was when I ended my term at UCAIPA, which was June 2016. After this button will go ahead and appear as blue. You'll hit save and continue. And with this one, this is the only tab that will not automatically take you to the next tab. So you'll actually have to go to the left and click the colleges attended. So the colleges attended, you are including every single college or university that you have attended. Not only that, but if you are planning on taking classes at another college for the fall semester, even though it is planned in the future, you still want to include it here. So for this one, you can go ahead and see that I've already added Crafton, I've added Valley, but say for instance, I want to take a class over at Moreno Valley College. So to add Moreno Valley College, I'm going to go ahead and click on this blue button to add a college or university. It'll give me the box to be able to type in the campus itself, and it should give you a list of those campuses that start with that name, or even if you want to type in a couple of letters, it should pop up with all the colleges or universities that start with that. So I'm going to click on Moreno Valley College, and it's going to ask if I'm obtaining a degree from Moreno Valley College or if I'm planning to obtain a degree. If neither one is the case, you're getting your associate's or your transfer degree from Crafton, you can go ahead and just select no. And then right here, it'll be asking what terms does the university or the college use. For Moreno Valley College, they use the semester system, even though they have a winter intersession. So I'm going to select semester. And for this one, What is very, very key is to have your transcripts, unofficial transcripts, on hand when you're filling out this portion of the application, because you want to make sure that everything that is on your transcripts is a carbon copy when you put it into the application itself. Everything has to look exactly the same. If there's any discrepancies with the transcripts or with the application, it could severely hinder your admission into Cal State. So make sure that you have your unofficial transcripts on hand while you're completing this portion. So for this one, you're going to be selecting the first semester that you're attending. And like I said, with this one, we're planning to go to Moreno Valley College for the fall semester. So I'm going to go ahead and select fall, choose my month as August for when they're starting, and then I'm going to do 2020. And instead of putting a last semester, I'm just going to go ahead and check this box saying that I'm still attending the university, just in case if something were to happen. I would go ahead and hit save, and it'll be added to my list of colleges. Now for Crafton, since most of you are at Crafton, I'll go ahead and show how that looks. If you do say that you're planning on getting a degree, you can go ahead and say, yes, the degree has already been awarded to me, it's already on my transcripts, or you can say that the degree is currently in progress. Maybe you won't receive that degree until December of 2020. So since this degree is in progress, I'm actually going to change this to December of 2020, because at the end of fall is when I'll have my completed classes in order to achieve this Associate of Transfer. So from this one, the list has a whole bunch of different degrees here. The only ones that you're going to be looking at are the Associate Arts. I know there's no of, but it's Associate of Arts. There's the Associate of Arts for Transfer, which is the AAT. Associate of Science, which is your AS, and Associate of Science for Transfer, your AST. So those are the only 4 that you are looking at for Crafton. So you'll choose the appropriate one, select your major, and you are not going to be selecting your minor. At Crafton, there aren't any minors, and that goes for all community colleges. You're not going to be focusing on a minor until you go to the 4-year and you decide that you want to have a minor added to your major. One thing you will find is that it does not list all of the specific degrees. So this one isn't just listing all the transfer degrees, it's listing all degree programs that you can get. You'll see if you are getting your health sciences, there is a health science, or if you are planning on getting your multiple science degree, there is not a multiple science. So it's a very hit or miss depending on what degrees are listed. If you do not see your degree listed here, you can go all the way down and choose other not listed. You can choose one of the general major areas if you like. It's up to you completely. And if you have multiple degrees that you are adding, you're going to hit this add another degree. You are not going to check the box if you're a double major. That's not the case when it comes to Crafton. You can just go ahead and hit add another degree and add all the other degrees that you are or have been awarded. And same thing as before, you're going to choose the semester system as for Crafton, and for how long you were there, you're going to choose the very, very first semester that you started. Even if you've had a break, if you did a couple college courses during your high school years, you're choosing the very first time that you have taken a college course with Crafton, as is listed on your transcripts, which you can get through WebAdvisor. So I'll go ahead and hit save. Everything looks great. It won't let me move forward, so I have to go to transcript entry. So this one is the most time-consuming portion of the application. For this one, this is why we recommend to have your transcripts on hand, so that way you can go ahead and go into each of these college courses or these colleges and input your courses. So when you end up seeing this, it won't have it fully completed. So it'll have a start button, and when you hit the start button, we'll start with Crafton. It'll take you to a new page. One thing I highly stress with this area is just to have patience. The more classes you upload, the slower the system is. So when you inputted, when you first attended Crafton, I put down fall 2016. So on your screen, it won't have all these classes yet. It'll just have a bar that says add a semester. So you're going to add a semester, and I'm just going to edit this one just to show what it looks like. You're going to choose the first term that's listed on your transcript. So when you have your transcript on hand, just look at that very first semester, whether it is a fall, a spring, a summer. Look at that, and that is all the classes you're inputting underneath that specific term. You don't want to include every single class on your transcript under the fall semester because that's not the case. And then you're going to have to go back, delete, and pretty much start over. There is no easy way to start over. So as I mentioned, the first term on my transcripts was fall. I'll choose the year for 2016. My academic status was freshman because I was just starting out. And when you're doing this application, the highest academic status you should choose is sophomore because you have reached that 60 units or you're going to reach that 60. You might have gotten over the 60, but you have not taken upper division courses yet. So when you go to the 4-year, that's when you become a junior academic status. So for right now, you have just been taking lower division, so your options should just be freshman all the way up until about 30 units. And then when you hit 30, you'll choose your academic status as sophomore. It does not have to be exactly 30 when you change this academic status to sophomore, just a ballpark range. And for all of the semesters where you have a letter grade, you're going to choose completed. That'll allow you to actually input your letter grade. So if you have any AP exams that are listed on your transcripts or have been evaluated and they fulfill any type of requirement, even if it's an elective requirement, you want to make sure to include it in this first semester. So for right here, it shows that I've completed my AP English Language AP test. I have to manually type this in. And with the course title, I'm typing the entire course title for that specific test. With my subject, since this is an AP test, I do want to choose that test credit, no subject as the option. And with the credits that I earn from this, it will be different than what is listed on your transcripts for Crafton. With this, it's actually found in a different portion of the calstate.edu website. But if you wanted a quick question answered for this, you can just always reach out to us through email or through an appointment, and we can go ahead and help you with this. One thing when you are inputting your credits is the whole number goes in this box. You are not going to be inputting your units like this. It has to just be a whole number. The space that's in between this box and the drop down, just imagine that it's an imaginary decimal. So you have this 6 decimal and then this drop down with 00. Usually with the Crafton courses, the only ones that you'll be looking at for the credits are this 00, the 25, and the 50. And with the test credit, since I did not actually receive a letter grade, I'm going to put CR for my grade, which will count as credit. And even though this did not automatically populate, I want to make sure to check this box as transferable because this does fulfill one of the golden 4 requirements for entry into the CSU. On the other hand, my Math 090 is not a transferable class. And one thing is that when you're inputting these classes, if it is transferable, it will automatically pop up for you to choose. So with the math, you'll go ahead and see that all these Math 100 courses are transferable. If you have a 200 level, you can just put a 2. Make sure that there are no spaces in between math and the number or the subject and the number. It is all clumped together. If you do a space, it's going to show that no results are found. So make sure that it is all lumped together so that way you can go ahead and see those options there. That is one thing that we see quite often is if you have a space in between the subject and the number, the transferable courses will not populate. But as I said with the Math 095, and as you can see it's a little bit slower, there's no results found, which means that it's not a transferable course. But this does not mean that I should not include it in here because it is on my transcripts. It must be in here. So I type in Math 095. I type in the course title as is listed on the transcript. And the subject, of course, is mathematics. You don't have to choose algebra. You can just do the general mathematics as your subject. Same thing with the credits. Your whole number goes in this box. Drop down, you're going to choose 00. And then you're going to put your letter grade. The only difference is that you are not going to check this box because Math 095 is not transferable. So it is not being calculated in your overall GPA and the overall units that are transferring to the 4-year. On the other hand, if I have micro over here, I can do micro 102. It automatically changed the title for me because it is transferable. It checked the box. It's a 4-unit course. Remember that the space is that invisible imaginary decimal in between. And my letter grade is, I ended up withdrawing from that class. So with that one, I have to put a W in there because I withdrew from the course. So even though I did not complete it, even though I don't have a specific letter grade from the A through F range, I have to put down that I withdrew from that course. Once everything is already inputted for this specific semester, I'll have the option to be able to hit save. One thing you may find is that if you do not have your subject chosen, you will not be able to move forward. So you do have to make sure that you choose a subject. Now, there are some classes where the subject just doesn't seem to line up for whatever reason. That does not mean that you will be punished or that it would look negatively if you choose a subject that is not exactly what the course title is. One instance is child development. If you have a child development course, there is not a child development subject, but you can use child psychology as an option. The main thing is just choosing a subject that is very similar to the course itself. It does not have to be a carbon copy, and it won't hinder your admission in any way. So once you're done, go ahead and hit save, and then you'll have completed your first semester inputting. Then you would go into the next, and so on and so forth until you get to the fall semester. So for this one, if you are still taking classes in the fall and you are completing your general education or completing your degree or what have you, you'll still want to include this. But the main difference is that you do not have a grade yet. So as opposed to choosing completed, you're going to be choosing that in progress / planned. And then you don't have to input the letter grade because there's no grade to input. Before we move on, I do want to let you know about 2 different instances. If you have academic renewal on your transcript for a specific class or for a semester, you'll still want to include it even though it isn't counting towards your GPA. So you would input it for your credits as opposed to putting the number of units for that specific course. You're going to put it as 0 units because it does not count for anything. And your letter grade will be AR for academic renewal. If you took a course and did not pass the course, but you repeated it, you're going to still put the units as 0 because that course does not count. And for your grade, you're going to put RP for repeat. And that's only if on your transcripts it has an R next to that course. You might see on your transcripts that maybe you did not pass a course, you got an F, but you did not repeat it. It's still on there. It might show 0 units, but that's 0 units that you completed. We're looking at the units that you've attempted. So if you have attempted those units, you have to put down those units. So for instance, if I took History 170, I got an F, I would not put 0 credits. I would still put it as 3 credits because it is a 3-unit course. It counts towards my GPA. Once you're completed with all this, you'll go back to your transcript entry and you'll make sure to complete all the other colleges that you have listed as well. When the campuses are asking for partial transcripts as well as for your official transcripts, you do want to make sure that you send over every college transcript. Everyone has to go. Even though Crafton and Valley are in the same district, we are separate campuses, so you have to order individual transcripts from those specific campuses. After these are all completed, you can go ahead and click on this to calculate my transfer GPA, and it'll give you an estimate as to what your GPA is based on the classes that you've entered and the grades that you've put in. So right here it lets me know that my transfer GPA is a 3.56, which is awesome. And then this credit hours is very important. And with this one, it's saying that I'm going to be above the 60 transferable units. So I already have that marked off as one of my requirements to transfer into the 4-year. Once you've completed with the transcript entry, you're going to go to general education. General education is the golden 4. So if you've met with a counselor before, they may have talked to you about the golden 4, which is the admission requirement into the CSU. The golden 4 is completing your oral communication, your English 101, your critical thinking course, and your college level math. What's nice about this system is that once you've inputted all of your courses, it should automatically populate with the correct courses or the correct AP exams to fulfill those requirements. Your oral communications, it does not show the correct one, you can go ahead and just hit the drop down and then choose the correct oral communications course to fulfill that requirement. With your written communication, this one is your freshman composition. There is no way around this one. You have to have freshman composition. And with your critical thinking, this one is a little bit more relaxed on the class. So you don't have to complete English 102 if you've done Philosophy 103, Communications 125. Those are considered critical thinking courses, and that fulfills that A3 or the third requirement of the Golden 4. And lastly is your college level math. If you've taken multiple college maths, just choose the first college level math that you completed with a C or better. The other thing is, do not check this box. Do not check it. Do not check it at all. Because if you check this, then you are saying that you have not completed the Golden 4, and that is not the case. Once you're done, go ahead and hit save and continue without checking this box. And we're going to continue to the next section, which is the standardized test. And this is one of the easiest sections in the entire application because we are not freshmen going in, we are transfer students going in. So all that we need to do is say that I am not adding any SATs, ACTs, I'm not adding any of those test scores because they do not count. If you input your SAT scores or your ACT scores, then it's just another requirement that you're going to have to go find those transcripts, send them over to the 4-year, and they aren't going to be counted for anything at all. So with this one, you're just going to say, I'm not going to add them, and then you're all done with this section. And now we're moving on to the advanced placement section of this academic history. So if you do not have any AP exam test scores that you need to input here, you can just say that you're opting out to not add any of these exams. But if you did include your advanced placement, you're going to go ahead and select yes. You'll choose the exact exam title. The date that was taken, this one is a little bit more liberal with their choice. The most important part is choosing the correct year. So if you did it your sophomore year, your junior, your senior year of high school, it'll be easy to figure out what year that was. And most of the tests were done in April or in May. Then you could just estimate on the date. It does not have to be the exact. They're just trying to see when you took the exam. You'll input your number score, and you're all good. And if you've had more than one AP exam, you can go ahead and input all of those exams here. Just make sure that you do send over your official transcript from College Board that shows your AP exams and your test scores that you received. And then once you're done, you can go ahead and say, no, I don't have any more additional AP scores to add, and hit save and continue. And you'll be going to the next section, which is the CLEP. If you do not know what CLEP is, then that pretty much means that you have not done CLEP. It's an expensive test. It hit or miss if we accepted it over at Crafton, and then you'll just put down yes or no if you end up doing a CLEP exam. Same thing with the AP. If you did, you're going to put yes, and then just explain which exam it was, the date that it was taken, as well as the score that you received. For right now, but this account we did not, so I'm going to put no, hit save and continue, and then go to IB. For your high school, most individuals either had AP or they did IB. So IB is similar to the AP exams. So you would just go ahead and hit yes if you did do one. You'll go ahead and choose which one you did, the date taken, the score that you received. And then you could just put down if there's any additional IB scores that you have to do that's past these 5 exam slots. But if you've never done IB, if you don't know what IB is, go ahead and just hit no. The main thing is that with these 3 tests, the AP, the CLEP, and the IB, not only did you have to go in person and take these tests, but they were rather expensive tests that you had to take. So if you do not remember shelling out quite a bit of money to take these, then there is a very good chance that you did not. And that is not a problem whatsoever. So once you're done with this whole academic history section, as I said, the transcript entry is a little bit long. It is the longest portion of this application, but once you're done, you'll hit save and continue, and then you'll be moved into the next quadrant, that quadrant 3, which my coordinator will be going into more detail. So check out that video, and we'll hear from you soon.